He's in control. He's the master of his masters. I can do business with you, right? Master's talking to a master, now the master talking to a slave, a sovereign. I'ma license you, my materials. You don't own my materials anymore.
Red and blue, purple like Prince. Red and blue, purple like Prince.
The red and the blue. KTL empowerment.
Yes, KTL and the ATL, KTL Plus. Yes.
Hip hop is real, Key of Life production. We are here, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I feel like Morpheus because I got the red pill and I got the blue pill. You know what I'm saying? Which one are y'all gonna take? You feel me?
You know what I mean? What Western culture always emits is the synthesis, because they always want to deal with dualism because they want to create contrast.
Right,
but
and
conflict. But there's an aspect of synthesis that comes from, our people's antiquated, ancient philosophies. So we would say, put the red and the blue together and get the purple pill. You feel me?
Purple like Prince.
You can activate both hemispheres of your brain and get it to hemisync, and the color that comes from that under the auric light will look like violet or purple.
That's right.
So that's what we understand and perceive as supreme wisdom,
machine vision. It's the synthesis, like Blue said, of two frequencies, right? Two spectrums for that matter, red and blue. So, and give you the best of both worlds.
What more befitting, than the red and the blue being physically present and representing archetypes and motifs, and we're about to engage in this conversation about a situation that highly involves the red and the blue spectrum.
Feel me?
That's right.
Pop out and show niggas, you know what I'm saying? The pop out show.
Sometimes you gotta pop out.
Because it was a wave. We gotta understand, we're dealing with a wave right now. We had a diss song, but recently, like last week, on a random Wednesday.
It was random.
Nah, it was
not random. The 19th. Juneteenth. Yeah, okay. Not random. You're right.
Very strategic, and it was on point, and it was pinpoint precision, because what it did is it created a crater in the timeline that has fused a soundboy burial, right, with a holiday that celebrates liberation. So the culture just got liberated from the chains that they say that they take off your feet and your arms when you're in captivity, and they put on your mind.
Mental slavery.
And the evidence of that mental slavery, or those chains that bond and bind, is the fact that the eyes are connected to the brain, and that's where you get the perspective that comes through with limited minds.
Right.
Exactly. The sun had to shine on that piece that I just dropped, and not just because it rhymed, but because it was on time and it's right and exact.
Right.
So we be saying that, right? You can only expect the person to see as far as their brain will allow them, because the eyes are an extension of the brain.
Facts. Perspective.
Right? The eyes are an extension of the brain. So
perception.
Is it your brain is only seeing what your eyes can see? No, your eyes are only seeing what your brain can decipher.
That's a fact.
So there's certain things that was going on in the culture that our people have obviously and evidently been under a spell, and it has been debilitating their ability to discern and see certain things that have been shown to them crystal clear in their face, with explanations and no alterations. But now we got a situation where homie came through and he shined a different type of light, because it was not only the celebration of Juneteenth, it was the anniversary of solstice, the longest day, which brings in the most amount of light. Right? A few days after this man's born day. You dig what I'm saying?
Fact.
Celebrated in that energy field and that frequency of
what
him being
born day?
June 16th.
So 6/16.
I mean June 7th. I think he's the day after Pac. So he's the day, June 17th, the day that the Celtics won the championship.
So he's 6/16 in LA is the name of the song. So that's the day before his birthday?
Yeah.
That would be the day. Okay.
It's Pac's birthday.
Okay, so 6. Okay,
Yeah, 617 is his birthday.
Right.
And shout out to the brother Carlo, it's his birthday as well. And Brill, shout out to Brill,
Shout out
it's
to
his
Brill.
birthday as well.
So 619.
And 617 is the day, and also the area code of Boston, the day that they won their 18th championship. So with all that being said, yes, on 619 or 619, right, which is a play on numbers that's irreversible as well.
Right.
It's a palindrome.
It is.
Let's get to it.
Yes. So prophecy was fulfilled. He made a statement and an affirmation in his quote-unquote anthem. People saying song and diss song, they try to minimize, right? And we're gonna talk about all of the subtle minimizers out there who, you know, are on the wrong side of history, right? It's on
It's blaring.
It's on the blockchain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's nothing
It's
that
on
you
the
can do.
blockchain, like, you can't erase it.
You can't erase it. It's on the blockchain. You on the wrong side of history.
Analytics
You try to
and
minimize that.
surveys.
Man. Yeah.
Y'all niggas is bugging.
So
But-
in his anthem, his affirmation was, sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas, right? When people in media, what they call new media, who's basically, I would say, New York would be the home of this media conglomerate. New York historically is the home of the media apparatus, right? This new genre of hip-hop media, which we will call new media, is global because it's online. It's everybody has their bloggers out there, there are podcasts out there. There's so many voices, there's so many opinions, there's so many personalities, right? And in this situation, it was unfortunate and it was somewhat of a letdown to see how many of them got it wrong, right? Because in this situation, there wasn't no either you getting it halfway right or halfway wrong. This was pick a side. There's no such thing as neutral. You have to see, you got to know what the fuck you looking at. If you wasn't part and parcel to even making this reality part of the reality, you wouldn't know what you were looking at, like Blue Pill say, because of your lack of vision. So the majority of the industry, from the people who were siding with Drake, from all the way up into the last song, and to the people who didn't give Kendrick his proper accolades, right? After the battle, no, from the beginning of the battle, the same way like the people who were betting on Lux, right? You gotta hedge the bet. Put your money where your mouth is. That's why they got FanDuel and all of that. Put your money where your mouth is. Don't speculate, demonstrate. Don't do the Don King when we win. Show me that you care for me. Tat it on your body so I know it's real. Right. So these people wasn't willing to go to bat for K-Dot. They wasn't willing to decipher and to decode and to break down what exactly was taking place while it was taking place in real time in order to help the people to see or to perceive what was taking place.
Yeah, stay 10 toes before the Fringe show. Smoking on that endo.
Right, there were certain people in the gangs and whatnot who publicly.
Yo, them gin and juice commercials was crazy. I'm sorry, hold on.
Facts. That was the only commercial.
Talk about a promo.
You feel me? I was
and
wait,
retro,
where's that?
nostalgic. So
right.
This is setting the stage for a level of nostalgia that's about to take place. Cause this thing goes deep. It's multiple layers that's involved, and I'm gonna take you to the depths and to the heights. You know what I'm saying? But
so on Juneteenth, the day that they said thousands of armed officers march through previously quote unquote enslaved. They marched through Galveston, and it was also said that they were marching through other quote-unquote enclaves and whatnot. Reminding by a show of unity and by a show of force, helping our brothers and sisters who are in such a fearful state, and they were in such a quote-unquote disinformed, right? Because the Galveston situation is a matter of The lack of information. My people perish because of what?
A lack of information.
So just based off of you having a lack of information, there could be an existence where people are literally free. People are literally living off the grid, living their best life, you know, reconstructing themselves, repairing themselves, getting to that Baggington, right? And they got protection and everything is living plush.
Lovely.
And they are what is known as thriving, not surviving. Then there's a whole, then right down the block or a few hours away or maybe a few miles away or maybe on the other side of the planet, you'll have a group of people who are off the quote unquote beaten path. Okay, and they are subjected to their environment, so they become products of their environment. So if their environment is roped off, or it's like an echo chamber, similar to how the modern day algorithm put certain people in certain echo chambers and they block you out from the rest of the world. They'll put you in a box, or they'll put you, or let's fast forward to how you got people who are very small-minded and they never left their block.
Right.
They only exist in this diameter or this radius and whatnot, and that's it. That's all they know, and that's where they're gonna die and whatnot, right? When you are short-sighted, you don't have foresight. You cannot see into the future. So what we are suffering from as a people is the fact that there's a large group of our people who cannot see themselves as being free, both mentally. You got to be free emotionally. You got to be free creatively, right? And that means not being tied in to these corporate entities and whatnot. They control your thoughts. They control your likeness. They control everything that you say. So they passing these people's scripts. Because everybody is saying the same thing. All of these quote unquote universal sponsored brands. Because I'm not going to take, I'm talking about these Universal or these AKA these BlackRock conglomerates, these Universal and Sony sponsored podcasts, brands. Because remember, there's conflicts of interest in all of these relationships, right? If we know that the boy is the quote unquote, he's the investment of these conglomerations, and he's their homelander. You know what I'm saying? He's their bet, they're hedging almost $1 billion on homie as a stock.
Right. So you also got to be free contractually. I'm gonna hit you with the slogan. I'm gonna be like, what will Raekwon do? Because we're supposed to be going with Ray and Go. Like,
Ray and Go.
Yeah, WWRD. That's
right.
what you're supposed to know.
Right.
Like, what will Raekwon do? Yeah.
Right.
So free contractually. And why do we know that that's important? What would be the sense of people saying that they breaking generational curses if they're gonna sit here and pretend as if they don't know that they out here making soul contracts and the sins of the father visits the children that are unpaid, right? So what about the discomfort and the discontent of people that have not freed themselves from the soul contracts that they made? When you need a little bit here and you need a little bit there, and you might have done a deal with the devil or with an entity or forces. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was your lesser gods.
Right,
and
your lesser
people,
gods.
Right. People have dabbled in those particular contracts, and
Facts.
some represents like a contingency of people who, you know, for the most part, some have used their honest talent, even if misdirected, and others have compromised in soul aspects of themselves.
Right.
The issue that I take with the boy is that he is what? He is a benefactor of entitlement that he's not holding his contract to. The nigga had a bar mitzvah, right?
Facts.
He's not upstanding and living the life of what we would consider somebody that is holding true to that contract and that creed is, but he benefits from the entitlement, so he's the worst of the worst.
Facts.
Right? And the fact that he does not have a political position or disposition at a time like this, again, he still benefits and he's entitled by the shielding of his people and the fact that he's part of that congregational contingency.
Right.
But he's very far from a discipline, you know what I'm saying? Adherent to those particular precepts and principles. So the man is unprincipled, right? He don't belong over here, and that's what they telling you. They packing you up and they sending you back somewhere in the middle of the ocean, and the people is willing to follow him there.
They are. Right.
You feel me? Because they are also in denial, because in essence what he represents is a hero to them. You know what I'm saying? So the hybridized, right, the hybridized character and his conquest finally, you know, ascended the throne. He's from the north. Hip hop's throne, its seat of power, never extended past the Bronx. Facts. Prior to Drake.
Facts.
And then when it went, because look, the Locks had to come to the Bronx. DMX had to come to the Bronx.
Right.
Puffy had to say that he was from Harlem.
Right. They wasn't just chilling in Mount Vernon.
The throne of hip hop has never left New York in its northern demonstrations until this nigga from the furthest crevices of the north. Even Griselda, they rep Buffalo, but they had to still come to the city.
Right.
Right. They didn't take the throne with them to Buffalo. They had to come and sit on the throne in New York. But Son is up there in the north, sitting in the throne as a hybridized aspect of the culture. If the prerequisites of the culture is cultural integrity, then you come from a place that don't have no culture, but you have been able to do the thing that those people in the regions have had to do, which is adapt.
Right.
So his adaptability factor is what? The fact that hip hop is regional is because you become a product of your environment, and that's the narrative that you're telling. We want to hear music through the flute that's made by the native tree.
Right.
Okay.
And like Blue was saying, this entitlement is the fact that he was getting something in return for the Drake stimulus package. So what Kendrick pointed out is the fact that he came to Atlanta as a colonizer. And the fact that I would agree with that is because you are coming into the hood to amplify hood shit, right? You're not coming to Atlanta to amplify Ciroc. You're not coming to amplify Soul Messiah sound. You're not coming to amplify Little Brother in the Carolinas. There's not even any balance. So what he got in return for that is what they call street cred or a hood pass. Now, if anybody ever had to put in work to get a hood pass or a street credit, there's a lot of people that are watching this that are just born with it. That's your birthright. But then there's other people who would do anything to get that, because what comes with that is a privilege that you can't buy from Barney's or Neiman's and whatnot. It's basically an easy pass that'll get you into you
could buy the watch from Jacob, but not the street cred.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You could buy the watch, but not the street cred.
So he understands the value of a cosign and what he's willing to exchange for that particular cosign. You know what I'm saying? He's been very strategic with. Give him that. He's very shrewd, like the people that he, you know what I'm saying, the contingency that he represents.
Facts.
You feel me? And
facts. But that machine that got behind the boy artificially puffed up a lot of things, because what the Drake stimulus package is an agreement that I will make sure that you spend on terrestrial radio. You're going to get a boost in your spins just based off of the fact that it was a video where they said anytime that his project dropped, everything stopped, and from the top down, the phone call was all resources go into whatever he's doing, right? So even before Larry Jackson, you got to go all the way back to the people who were running the show with him, because he was anointed on the way in as a Neo, right? But not our Neo, right? Remember in the Matrix, they made how many Neos?
It was 5 before Neo.
It was 5 before Neo, so you had Astra Roth, right? And there's a video floating around with Paul Rosenberg and Drake where they're talking about the Astra Roth quote-unquote effect, that he didn't make it because he couldn't, his mother was not of the quote-unquote faith. Right? We're talking, wasn't of the faith. So for people that are saying, oh, he's just light-skinned and everything, that the conversation has nothing to do with that at all.
Yeah,
you're missing the point. Once again, you can't see. This is about ethnicity. This is about the fact that this person came in disguised, playing a role as an actor called Drake. And Aubrey is who you're looking at. And now this is Aubrey who's been revealed. The Emperor has no clothes. So now you're seeing Aubrey. People are becoming, they're having these reactions. It's almost like when people are let off the doogie and whatnot. And there's this type of, you know, there's denial taking place. There's anger, cold sweats. There's meltdowns. Yes.
Didn't one of his friends basically say, like, you know, the Drake we're looking at isn't like, you know, he said something like he's the greatest actor in the world. That to basically make us believe that he's a real rapper. Like, he says, the Drake I know.
Yes. That's the white voice.
Not like that.
It's nothing like that.
But you know, he's a great. I can't wait till he comes to Hollywood.
Davidson.
And yeah, Pete Davidson. Yeah, exactly.
Because when he decides to go into the movies,
saying that,
right?
Like when I'm with Drake, yeah, he's like, yo, you guy needs to start making movies, man. What is he doing?
Waste of talent.
But he said, yo, if anything, he's giving us the greatest show on earth. Then in a sense. If he's acting, right?
He's not the only person, Knowledge. The majority of the people online is in character.
Yeah.
Charleston White told you that.
Yeah, fact.
And Hollywood Terrence Howard told you that.
Yeah.
You didn't know Terrence Howard was a genius.
Fact.
Right. He was a wise man playing dumb, right? Who else popped out and showed niggas? Cat Williams showed you that.
Yeah.
The character of Cat Williams is not who he really is. So that's where they have alter egos, people with their government, but then you have your alter egos and you have these characters. You got to choose one of the two, because if Terrence Howard ever decided to show people his real person before he decided to do Hustle and Flow, you wouldn't have bought into the character. You wouldn't have bought into Lucian or Lucius on Empire. Not the record label, but the TV show. But the coincidences of both of those two in the whole scheme of things is very interesting.
Facts.
The fact that Lucian, who is the head of Universal, but is also the name of the quote-unquote in Underworld, that's the name of the vampire, right? No, the name of the Lycan, the werewolves in them, right? And also in Harry Potter is Lucian and Drake. Or Draco, it's Lucian and Draco. So just the whole play on these words in the movie Lucy, and when Kendrick was talking about Lucy in his music and Lucifer, and and these are the people.
The first name of the head of the International Satanic Church of America, his name is Lucian.
Can't make this up.
It's like Grange. It's not Grange, but it's like another G.
Right.
It's very similar.
Whose son Elliot Grange was the one who brought you Trippie Redd, Tekashi 6ix9ine, and Ice Spice. Okay. What are we talking about? So all of these things that are being revealed, the emperor has no clothes. This was a coronation that took place in LA. The last event that coincides with that is the coronation of Nipsey Hussle at the State Farm Arena when he had his ascension. It wasn't a funeral, it was an ascension, because messiahs have ascensions and coronations. They don't have funerals.
So imagine that, like the messianic forces that we have seen in hip hop have all been related with the West, where the messiahs come from. The kings rise in the West and they also die in the West.
That's right.
I mean, we've seen the king die in Memphis here in the Western Hemisphere, but you got Nipsey, you got Pac, you got Nipsey,
Big,
and you know, you got Big also, you know, the king of New York transcended in the West. But you have this ascension in real life now of a messianic force. And the reason that we say that we're looking at the raising of a king, right, is one, this is Hip Hop 50. So it's a celebration of this whole aspect that they've always fed us about. There's a dual system in hip hop, either conscious or gangster.
Right.
So that would be like PE and NWA. So what you seen on that stage was the synthesis of both of them into an artist, a synergistic synergy, a synergy of an artist who is more Public Enemy than he is NWA, but he literally got the nigga who made NWA to come out and inaugurate him with the real gang showing up and saying, okay, this ain't CB4. Right. You know, Dre had to get up out of there before they came.
He had to get up out,
on stage with them. And I'm just saying, symbolically speaking, it's beautiful
I didn't even
poetry.
think about that. That's deep.
It's beautiful poetry to what we see, right? On Juneteenth, this man has emerged as a person, its ability to unite our standing army. No disrespect to nobody else, but none of you niggas count in this conversation as it applies to hip-hop. Because 50 years ago, hip-hop started on some street shit with that same scene in The Warriors being enacted by Africa Ben Butt. Come on, son. Huh? What the fuck is you talking about? Right? And that's a masterful high-level observation that you can only get from masterful high-level observers.
Right.
And what I'm saying is that, the ability to see the synergy in all things. I don't go around looking for the differences or the dualism. I acknowledge it for what it is, but I'm always looking for the synthesis. I'm always looking for the middle ground. How do these two waves collapse on each other to create a particle that I can explain through non-judgment what the fuck I'm looking at, nigga?
Right.
I know what the fuck I seen.
Right.
This
Because
nigga had a whole stadium immersed in the colors of red and blue that was interchangeable while we was on air, red and blue, doing a whole presentation called the Second Coming of Christ Consciousness.
on Black Magic 363.
And we used a picture to look just like him with the crown of thorns on his head. He's identifying as a messianic force, but he also says that I'm not your savior. But any man that goes against the machine and their body is still retained and they live to tell about it, nigga, that's a messianic force. They utilize this music as a medium to channel messianic force. And what does that mean? I went against the system and I won.
And I won.
Look at me, nigga, and me and my niggas is celebrating, nigga.
Right.
Gang, gang, nigga, you know what it is. They ain't even thinking about it. They can't talk tough. They're only now what? They're trying to...
They dry snitching now.
Yeah, they're trying to align his name and besmirch his character.
Right, they
by
dry
saying he's a
snitching.
gangbanger.
Yeah.
Right? No, he unified the gang without being a gangbanger, nigga. He not no disrespect to Farrakhan, but he took a notch of a step. I would say in front of him alongside the minister. Like, he's the student minister in terms of being able to do, in essence, what Farrakhan has always been called upon to do, right? But people say, has it been successful if it hasn't been done yet? It has only been done in death prior to this. This is the first time we've seen it done in life.
Because Nipsey brought...
Hold on.
Yeah. Look, Nipsey was the one who the mission.
Look, the bird's going crazy.
Right,
facts.
The mission with Nipsey got stifled, right? He's on a victory lap, right? He called it the marathon. He said victory lap. What you saw on Juneteenth was the victory lap. You understand? That was the victory lap. K-Dot, aka Kung Fu Kenny, aka Kendrick Duckworth Lamar, pulled up and he did what needed to be done by tying those two rags together and unifying his set and whatnot. The same way that Nipsey came together to unify his set, right? Nobody stepped forward after the assassination or the quote-unquote, the ascension of my good brother Nipsey. But now somebody finally has stepped forward of a certain type of quote-unquote power in the midst of a battle. He caught the body without the gang. Keep that in mind. He caught a stain without the gang, bro.
Without showing his face.
He caught a stain without showing his face and without the gang. He brought the gang in after he caught the body.
Facts.
Okay? So the gang can't claim that body because it's not theirs. He just brought them in and feed on the carcass. It's a big carcass, that is. It's a big carcass.
He brought a whale in.
He brought a whale in!
Off the show for Long Beach, through Compton,
Back to the hood.
Brought the whale back.
Because look, we in the garden right now, because the last time we seen some shit happen like this was in the garden.
Jungle.
Right? When the Locks did it to Dipset.
Right. Yeah. When they shifted the culture.
When they dragged that body in.
Right.
You feel me? So
And we're in the spirit of all battle rap. This is all battle rap, but yeah.
It's in the shadow of what Lux did. Hold on, let me cook.
Wait, before you do, because I allowed you to go for what would Jada do?
Yeah.
Right? I just wanted to say, as a continuation of the conversation that me and the good brother was having on his station, I put my neck out to say certain things in truth and honesty to speak to the community. And I said, what? The evidence of the dichotomy that we seen at that battle is Beloved had healthy
and Son had
death.
Right.
Right? So just like I said, this aspect of life, and we seeing the rewards now for righteousness, where the coin is being flipped, and healthiness and living and life is being put at the forefront.
Right.
Because no disrespect, but to you beautiful young brothers and sisters out there that are participants in this particular genre, y'all all look like y'all putting on for your seeds. And I want to see all of you be the grandest examples to be grandparents to the beautiful seeds that your seeds are going to produce you. The goal in this game is to live in longevity. The goal in this game is to liberate ourselves from sucker shit. The goal in this game is to, you know, demonstrate why they not like us while our children is watching. So then they can follow by example.
The naysayers would say the pills are talking about a symbolic gesture. There's no way that a rapper and gangbangers who are on stage dancing have anything to do with our liberation or our quote-unquote upliftment.
It's just a show, man. It's just a show.
It's just a show, right?
Man.
I would
Rap
say
song.
to them, you know, we live in a day and age where everyone has an opinion, so it's already something that is, it's welcome, right? It's welcome, and it's like, I could read your every thought in your mood. You know what I mean? Like Kendrick said, I could read your mind. I know your moves before you make them, right? Listen, our people are symbol literate. You understand? We use symbology to bring things into real time. You understand? So even if it was a symbolic gesture, even if it was something that this was coronation, this was what is known as a ceremony, this was a demonstration. In all times of war, and in all times of coronation, and even in times where we were burying or bringing or sending our ancestors into the afterlife, it was done in that stadium setting that we saw that Amazon. So you know.
Let me ask